Hey, Janko Redgers here for GigaOM TV with Trey Ratcliff at the Google Plus Photographers Conference. And Trey, you're doing a lot of stuff on Google Plus, and you have 2 million people who have circled you and stuff like that. I was wondering, what do you like about this service? How did you discover it as one of your main outlets nowadays, I guess?
Well, so I think that things are changing underneath us on the internet. I think that the way humans are communicating with each other is starting to evolve. And for years and years and years, we've been using sort of an alphanumeric, almost Twitter-like system for communicating ideas and thoughts and status updates. But really, we're very visual creatures. And something is happening with photography and photos on the internet, in that you can communicate a concept or an idea or what's happening in your life with a photo in a different way than words. Not necessarily better or worse, but a different way. And there's something that is happening with streams of information. And we used to have this sort of web-based world, but it's becoming streams. And as we're all looking at these streams, what really catches our eyes as humans is photos. And so I thought, since I'm a photographer, I would like my work to appear in streams where it looks the most beautiful, where it's the most accessible, where people can really kind of experience my art. And of all the various services out there, I'm on all of them. I felt like Google Plus was one of the best ways to share my work and my art with the world.
You seem only to be one of many professional photographers or amateurs who like to go a step further, who embraces this service nowadays. I'm wondering, why do you think there is such a movement towards Google Plus in this community in particular, and as opposed to just publishing things on Flickr or maybe Facebook or Twitter?
Right. There is something strange and kind of magical happening with Google Plus, with photographers in particular. There's many other micro communities that are on Google Plus. It's really kind of a place for passions. And once you realize and are curious about one of these passions in your life, chances are there's thousands or hundreds of thousands of other people online that are into that niche. And Google Plus is helping us find these other people that are into my particular passion, which is photography. And so I'm able to go out and circle up other photographers that I think are interesting. They get recommended to me by my friends, and a friend recommendation is really important nowadays. I get recommended by friends, so I end up in lots of people's circles. And so we're able to share work with one another and comment on each other's work. And it's really just a way for us to know that we kind of exist. Everyone that's on computers nowadays, and especially photographers, we spend so much time alone, right? We're really these solitary, kind of introverted, characters out there. And we all just love human connections. We like to know that we exist and other humans are seeing our work or our art. We just like to know there's other souls out there. And when someone plus ones your stuff or leaves a little comment, it's like, oh, I am part of the human race. People are seeing what I see. We're sharing a nice little moment together. It's ephemeral and fleeting and streaming, but it's still real, it's still human. And it's just a way for people to communicate in a very efficient, beautiful way.
Now, if you believe some pundits, then Google Plus is just a ghost town where nothing's really going on. What's your take on that?
Well, they're obviously not following the right people. Maybe they're just not curious about anything. Maybe they're just into tech punditry, or maybe that's their hobby, right? But, if you're into something real, something visceral, whether it's anything from knitting to hiking to riding bikes, there's huge, live, vibrant communities, but you have to figure out who's going to be in your circles, and that takes a little bit of work. You can't just expect to go there and have the world instantly delivered to you. You go there, you do a little work, you figure out who is interesting in this community, who's producing a lot of content in this community, how can I follow them? You follow them, you see who they follow, you start following them, then soon your stream becomes very, very rich. This is a different world that we live in, right? We used to live in a world of like e-television, right? Where we would have our people that we're supposed to pay attention to piped into our homes. Like, you should be paying attention to Brad Pitt and George Clooney and Angelina Jolie, and they told you who was in your 150 people in your village. Right now, it's different. Now you've got to go find those 150 people, circle them up, And those are the people that are part of your world. They're influencers. They're the ones that you need to follow. So it takes a little bit of work. If you just go in and it appears to be empty, that's because you haven't done anything to figure out who are the passionate people in your life that you want to connect with.
Now, one of the things that I found interesting about the photography community on Google Plus in particular is that they're very self-organizing and they're also connecting in real life. And one of the ways they do it are these photo walks. Maybe you can explain a little bit to viewers who haven't heard about that, what photo walks are.
Sure. Well, photo walks are gatherings of photographers from all levels, from professional photographers all the way to people that just have iPhones or Androids that are interested in taking photos. You know, they feel drawn to take a photo, whether it's like a leaf on the ground or, you know, a boat in the harbor or an interesting sign or an interesting person. People enjoy taking photos and they're curious and they want to improve. There's a soft social pressure out there now because of Google Plus and Facebook and other services to take interesting photos. You want your photos to be maybe a little more interesting than your friends' photos or everyone else's photos. And what you want to do is you want to improve. And the best way to improve is to go out on one of these little photo walks that are being organized all over the world. It's a very bottom-up phenomenon. It's not Google that's organizing these. It's people like me. It's hundreds of other photographers. I have photo walks all over the world. I've done them in London and Tokyo, here in San Francisco and New Zealand, everywhere. And you just kind of put up a post and say, okay, I'm going to do a photo walk at 7 p.m. We're going to meet at this location. Everyone come. We'll have a good time. So half of it is everyone getting together and walking around the city and taking photos together and meeting one another. The other half of it is sharing online afterwards because we use a tag and we can look at everyone else's photos. This is incredibly fun for photographers because we get to see stuff that we missed, and it helps you become more cognizant of the wider world around us.
So earlier this morning, and maybe that's the last question, earlier this morning there was Bradley Horowitz from Google was here.
Right.
He didn't announce anything in particular, but he hinted at a lot of stuff. And I'm wondering, from your perspective as a photographer, is there any features in particular that you would like to see come to Google+?
I would like to see a grand unification of everything photos in Google. They know this is currently a shortcoming because they have photos that get into the Google metaverse through multiple mechanisms. There's just basic uploading from your hard drive, there's your Android, there's Picasa, there's Blogger, there's many different ways. And now there's Google Drive. And me, as a photographer, I have thousands and thousands of photos in my portfolio. And it's a problem, where do I put these things online? I want to have one place, the one ring to rule them all. And right now, Google's a little bit scattered with album management and photo management and this sort of thing. So currently, I keep my portfolio over on smugmug.com. That's sort of my main mother lode. But I also reshare it over on Google Plus as well. And I know many photographers want this as well. They want the ability to have one great portfolio, one great online cloud album management system. I know they're working on it because they're filled with photographers that have the same problem that I do, that all of us do. So something's coming. I want it sooner rather than later, but I'll be there when it happens.
All right, thank you very much.